Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I sat down to record an interview with one of my coaching clients, a long-time coaching client who went from not really being able to approach women at all to now walking up to them and being ridiculously upfront and honest, telling them that he wants to exchange orgasms with them, that they have a very cute butt, that he's looking for something casual and sexual, that he would like them to be his friends with benefits or his fuck buddy. He has literally gotten to that level of honesty. In this interview, we talked about what works for approaching, what doesn't work, how you can be ridiculously upfront and honest and authentic, and how honesty is a cheat code for getting more of what you want. Super grateful for him coming on, giving his advice, his love, his wisdom, and all of that. I also have a special one-on-one coaching deal, so stick around to the end of the video to hear more about that. Enjoy.
It's interesting what you said about just saying what's on your mind. And that's a really tricky one because it's super easy to get, at least for me, it's super easy to get into that state where I just like a pickup line. Even though it's honest, it's not exactly what's on my mind. It's more about what's something that I've remembered and I just regurgitate it.
There's almost like layers of honesty because we've all been programmed, especially if you scroll through Instagram. Like I was on Instagram last night, which I never go on the news feeds of any algorithm, but I just went on there last night and I was scrolling and it shows me lots of like pickup artist stuff, maybe because that's the content that I do. I watched a couple of them and there's honesty in what they're doing. There's honesty in what they're saying, but at the same time, they are saying lines. They're just doing things that they've rehearsed. It's pretty obvious at some points that they're not just being honest and authentic, right? They're kind of holding back. They're playing games. They're using psychology tricks that are very easy to see when you know what they are. But if you don't know what they are, you're just like, wow, he's so smooth. Like that stuff works. And in their mind, they'd say like, I'm being honest. And they are. It's like my article, honesty is an ideal that you work towards. There are levels of honesty. And if we've been programmed by that content online, like if you watch 1,000 of those videos, then when you walk up to a woman, you'll be thinking, what lines do I say to her? How do I like do my perfectly rehearsed pickup artist routine? It takes quite a lot of letting go to shed all of that and get to a point where you can just be real. And the way that I phrase it is try and be more simple. Like the more simple you can be, like the more simple the truth is, the more truthful it is. Like truth is simple. You're hot, I want to fuck you. Like that's the most simple truth of all. And almost anything that you add on top of that is like societal expectations or programming or niceties or any of that. And I'm not saying that stuff's bad. Like I add extra stuff on top, but I almost got to, or what I did do is I got to the base level of honesty of just like, you're hot, I want to fuck you. And then from there, I started saying, what stuff do I want to add on top? What stuff comes from me? Do I want to add some compassion and some niceness and phrase it in a kinder way to her? Because I saw what happens if you walk up and say, you're hot, I want to fuck you. Some people go like, ah. So I was like, okay, what can I add on top? But I think starting from a very like base level of honesty, and I'm not saying everybody listening has to walk up to girls and be like, you're hot, I want to fuck you. But like, at least just think about in your head how much of what you're saying comes from programming, like you said. It's hard to pull those apart though. Like what's programming and what's like the actual honest me? Because we're all programmed. It's not even a bad thing. That's how we learn to live. If we weren't programmed, we would walk in front of traffic outside and die. We need to be programmed. Otherwise, we won't live in a society. We'll just die.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you said about honesty. Like, I think it's not just saying honesty is like, at least for me in the beginning, was really like, okay, honesty, but like more specific about it. And I think what we talk about also in the group is a lot about like being in the moment, because honesty kind of changes from moment to moment. Expressing your truth of the moment is what it's the honest thing, rather than, because in the last moment 5 minutes ago truth was something else and now it's different, so you can express what's true now. And I guess the thing with the pre-rehearsed lines is like a good way to start, like
Yes.
to be able to approach, because it calms down the nerves. Like what I try to do is I try to say basically, hey, and then pause and whatever comes out. But I still do like, I still tell girls like the basic stuff, like maybe like a template when I'm really nervous, like if I find you attractive or something like this.
Yeah, it's almost like lines and pickup lines are a really good set of like training wheels to get you to at least start. Because yeah, the number of times where we send, like in the coaching program, we'll send a guy out to approach women and he'll say, but like, what do I say? What do I say? And we're like, it doesn't matter, man. I promise it doesn't matter. And he's like, no, please. Like, I can't do this unless you tell me what to say. Like, I need to know what to say. Otherwise, I'm not even going to try. And you're like, okay, fine. Walk up to her, say, hey, you're cute. Give her a chance to answer, and then say, are you single? Then give her a chance to answer. If she says, yes, I'm single, or yes, I want to talk to you, then you talk for like 1 or 2 minutes. Ask her what her job is. Ask her what she's doing today. Ask her what she did on the weekend. Then you say, can I get a drink with you? Or do you want to grab a coffee? Can I get your number? There you go. Go do that. And at least they will go and try it. But I feel like authenticity is trying to let go of those like pre-rehearsed lines or things you think you have to say, because that can become almost like you become very attached to the lines and the routines and the body language and all of that, and you forget that you're there to connect with an actual human being. And real life isn't scripted. Like, she'll say some random you weren't expecting, and if you're stuck on your pickup line, you'll be like, oh fuck, what am I supposed to say next? Like, how do I respond to this? Like, what is the correct thing to say? It's like, brother, like, a big part of this is being in the deep end without lines, without rehearsals, without like those training wheels, like we said. And that's when this stuff becomes really fun, when you learn to roll with the punches and you become very certain about what you want, which, for you personally is you want to have more sex, you want more sexual experience right now. And you can just say that. And then whatever she says, you're like, yeah, but this is the thing that I want. You either want it or you don't. Like, you become more stoic and certain of what you want. And you find people respond better to that because you're more certain.
Yeah, that's like exactly. I agree with everything you said.
You have done a really good job of like being honest about what you want. And like, especially where you started, where you weren't telling people like it took a little bit of effort for you to be able to say like, I want to exchange orgasms with you. I find you sexy. You have a cute butt. Like, wow, you're so hot. Hey, I'm dating multiple people, so I probably only want something relatively casual. Like, all of that took you a lot of effort. And I think when you come on the channel now, people will just see this guy. I've had emails and we've had other clients that look at you and just go, oh, this guy's like a fucking Chad. Like, he's good at just saying what he wants. It's like, bro, no, brother.
No.
Like, the amount of
No.
effort that the amount of effort that it took you to get here, and like, I've gotten to see all of it, which is a blessing, like in the coaching, because you've done several rounds of coaching now. But yeah, it's not like you just woke up one day and you were like, all right, I should just be honest with these women and tell them that they're sexy, that I want something casual, that I'm seeing other women, that I want to have sex with them. Like, do they want to grab a coffee or a drink with me? It's like, do you want to talk maybe a little bit about what that journey was like how you got to the point of just being this honest?
So when I started, like last year, I had a experience with one girl, and it like, well, it broke me. Well, it didn't. Maybe broke me is stuff, but like it made me reevaluate everything I knew. I decided to get better with girls, but the problem was like I couldn't talk to them in any way, shape, or form, especially the girls I didn't know. Like, if it's a social situation, maybe I can talk to her about some stuff, but like actually talking to girls. So I had friends that helped me a lot, that were like good at it. I started going out with them, and I'm really grateful to all of them. Like at first when I started, I couldn't like ask not girls, people for directions. So it was from there I started slowly talking to girls. Then I joined the coaching program, and you're like, oh, you can be honest, and I was like, what do you mean no? No, I can't. So I had to go through a bunch of learning experiences to realize, okay, if I was honest in this situation from the start, then I could have spared myself some, like a lot of emotional turmoil. And what happened was, yeah, I was like hiding stuff from girls, what I was looking for, and all of this. So I went through all that experience, experiencing what it's like not to be honest first, and what are the cons, the pros and cons, obviously, of it. Then at some point, I was like, okay, it's time to try something else because this just doesn't work for me. And then I started working on being more honest and more honest, and I really like.
I would say for you, honesty is an obsession. You've learned a lot from like There are lots of clients where I suggest they be more honest, and they do it, but it usually takes a little bit of time. And lots of you in the audience, I'll say, hey, just be honest. Hey, you have this problem with this woman. Why don't you just say that to her? And you guys will eventually do it. But you, Victor, were one of the people who was just like, okay, I did that thing. What do I do next? And I was like, okay, go try saying this. And you were like, okay, I did that. What next? Like, you just really got obsessed with honesty. You also found other people, like, you like, what's his name? Is it Alan Roger Curry?
Yeah.
Roger Allen Curry. Yep. He is mode 1, which is basically the exact thing that we say. It's like, just be ridiculously autistically upfront. Stop trying to manipulate. Just tell the truth. Say what you want. Screen out the people who don't want that. Screen in the people who do want that. You also found, what was that book? It's like Radical Honesty.
Yeah. Radical Honesty.
Yeah. And you like Byron Katie for her radical honesty, like even David Hawkins for his honesty. Like, you just seem to be very obsessed with honesty, which is the same sort of journey that I went through. And for me, part of the reason why I decided to really, really, really embrace honesty and do more and more of it was out of kind of frustration. I just had gone on so many dates where I got like friend zoned, or just it didn't work out, or like it was really because I was holding back and I wasn't making it clear, like, I want to have sexual intercourse with you. I thought I was. I would like touch them on the arm and do all the like pickup artist shit, and I'd escalate and I'd keno and like I'd be smooth and sexy and like James Bond and all of that. But then when it came time to have sex, they'd be like, oh, I just wanted to be friends, or like, oh, I didn't know that you wanted sex, or, oh, I didn't know that you were seeing other women. That's a deal breaker for me. No, thank you. And so it came out of frustration of that. I was like, I'm sick of this. How do I get rid of those women? Nothing against them, but they don't want the same thing I want. How do I get rid of them? And how do I find the women that won't say no, like that want to say yes? And it was obviously honesty. Just say up front, I find you sexy. I would like to have sex with you. Do you want that? Or is that at least on the table? Is that something that you're looking for with the right person? You know, I'm into BDSM. Is that something you want to try? I'm seeing multiple women, so, you know, I'm ethically non-monogamous. If you're into that, beautiful. If you're not, that's cool. Like, we're not a match. We are not going to be good together, like all of that. And so for me, it came out of frustration. Would you say it was frustration for you? Like, why did you start being more honest?
Yeah, I've had experiences, and when I look back with a few girls, and when I look back, it was mainly me being honest. And like, what exactly is being honest? Because like, I think I've had people that are really like, they're open, like they're open person. They will tell you, I feel like this, and this is like this. But that's like, for me, honesty is like basically saying for example, asking another person, what exactly do you want from me? And then being able to answer it. And basically then being able to answer the questions of what are their intentions and desires and whatever they want from you. And you're saying that to them. And first you have to know it. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
First you have to know what you want. And for me, this also took like some time to figure out too, like, what do I want? It was more about realizing what I want rather than finding it out. But yeah, once you kind of figure out why you're talking, at least in the case of girls, where you're talking to the girls, and I'm talking to the girls because I want casual sex. But even if you want something like different type of relationship, then I think realizing what you want. The problem I have found myself is when I don't know what I want with someone. This is where, because they also don't know what they want with me, and especially with girls, it's really rare that they will know what they want exactly. They will tell me, and I'll be like, I don't know. And actually, this has happened to me, but it's usually rare. It's more you kind of figure out what you want and you live with it.
I want to say two things there. I'll talk about the last thing you said. In times when you don't know what you want, basically what you're saying is you see a girl, you're kind of attracted to her, but like you're not quite sure. Do I want to sleep with her? Do I want to be friends? Do I want to just like not at all? And you're kind of figuring it out. There are plenty of situations like that. I have situations like that. Eventually, the more you do this, what you want is to go on a date and figure out what you want. And you become really certain of that. You're like, I want to go on a date with her and see if we're a match. Like that becomes the thing that you're certain about. And so then you have certainty. I love the idea of like, or I love what you said about most people don't really know what they want. Men and women in dating, they think they do, brother. They literally think they know what they want, but you're right, they don't. And if you can sit down and get very clear about it, you're more likely to get it. And there are almost like 3 levels to that. The first level is just figuring out what the fuck you want. Like, do I want some more sexual experience? Do I want a wife and kids? Do I want a husband? Like, just what do you want? Figure that out. That's stage 1. And if you don't know, that's okay. You can go out and experiment and try things. Stage 1, figure out what you want. Stage 2 is being able to admit that to yourself. Because so many people, when they figure out what they want, they're like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I can't do that. Like all the programming comes up, all the guilt and shame, especially around sex. They're like, casual sex. No, that's disgusting. That would be using people. I can't do that. And it's like, fine, you don't want to use people. Great, brilliant. Don't. Who the fuck said you have to use people if you're having sex with them? What the fuck? Like, you can give something to them. You can give value. You can make their life better through your sexual chemistry and your sexual experience and intimacy and all of that. And then the third level is being able to admit that to other people, which I think is maybe the one that people struggle with them. I don't know. I feel like people struggle with all 3 of those levels the most. Being able to just even figure out what they want, being able to say it to themselves, and being able to say it to other people. Every single one of those comes with fear, guilt, and shame.
Being self-aware enough to realize what you want, allow yourself to want it, and then communicate it. That's kind of the journey. I think a big part of the most journeys, like you're figuring yourself out. Well, even if it's not related to sex, it can be like, I want to be a millionaire. It's kind of the same. So I definitely agree with everything you say, and at least I feel like sometimes you gotta experience the dishonesty part and see how it is and how it feels. So I have noticed that everyone that was honest first experienced the dishonesty, and then they started becoming like, okay, I don't want any of this. I don't want to be like with people that want different things, and we are in this limbo of being super vague and ambiguous. And I feel like you kind of start appreciating yourself more, your time, and the people you spend time with. So you want the people at least to be open to the ideas that you have.
Yeah. Well, because if someone was honest from the very beginning, they wouldn't need any help. They wouldn't come to coaching.
Yeah.
They'd just be like, oh, I'm honest. And there are some people like that. But then I think we can have a little conversation about how honesty is an ideal that you work towards. And there are levels of honesty. A really good example of this is Molly, one of the women that I'm dating right now, is very honest. She was honest from the beginning. She said she's never really liked to play games in her life. She just doesn't do that. That's just not what she likes to do. But the more she has dated me, like the more I've allowed her or given her permission really to be even more honest to levels that she didn't know were possible before, like vulnerability. And so a lot of the time we think we are being honest, but there's more honesty that we can give. I'm in the process of learning to be even more honest. I probably will be for the rest of my life. You are. And the number of times, mate, you've posted in the coaching and you're like, wow, today I learned that there are even more levels to honesty.
Yeah.
I can go even deeper with this. And so it's like, it's not that people are dishonest, like you're being a little bit honest, and then can you just be a bit more honest? It's like an ideal that you work towards. It's something you're always improving.
Yeah.
Like how honest and vulnerable you can be.
A lot of the times it's a conscious choice. And yeah, sometimes you slip up. And if you really value honesty, like it's one of your values, then you go back and fix the things. And I want to say, like, to get honest, to be more honest with the girls, for me, it was being more honest with every aspect of my life. Otherwise, like I had some blockers, I would say, that were I couldn't get to the next level unless this is how it felt at least, unless I went and I was honest with this other person, like my dad or some friend, about something. Yeah, I had some challenges there, but it was. Yeah, I remember you said something to me like the cure to guilt is honesty, and that's absolutely true.
Yeah, so many people go through their life feeling guilty. I think that's just like one of the most common human feelings. Maybe like fear is the most common human feeling, but guilt is right up there too. And yeah, like if you feel guilty, just tell the truth, and that can be a challenge. Like, I don't expect everyone to just snap their fingers and go and confess to their boss, hey boss, I've been shit talking you behind your back, or hey dad, I've resented you and held it against you for the last like 20 years, or hey friend, like I hid something from you for all these years, or hey girl, like sorry I lied to get into your pants, here's the actual truth. Like I get that that can be a challenge, but we can still take little baby steps to get there, or we can at least say, okay, fine, maybe I can forgive myself and have compassion for the lies that I've told thus far in my life. But what if from this moment onwards, I make a conscious choice to try and be just a little bit more honest going forward? Or what if I try and lie just a little bit less? What if I just try? And I won't be perfect. I might stumble. I might catch myself in a lie. I can fix that later and tell the person, or I cannot. Doesn't matter. Like, just at least to be on that pathway. And I think when you're on the pathway of honesty, I want to make it very clear. And you might take some steps offwards sometimes, or off the path sometimes. You tell a little lie and then you go, fuck, why did I do that? And it's like, because it's such a habit. Like, most people lie a hell of a lot of the time. Society is built on lies. Here you go. Here's your test. Who runs societies? Politicians and like the government, which is just made up of politicians and bureaucrats and legislators and all of that. Do politicians ever tell a lie?
Yeah, bro, I'm from Eastern Europe. What do you mean? This is like we're at the top of the rankings. So yeah,
Dude,
we do.
I don't know.
They do
America and countries like that lie a lot too. Our countries are fucking crazy. I know a lot of Eastern Europe has like a hell of a lot of like, corruption
No.
and shit, but like, and I have friends from like wild countries like Nigeria and shit, and they're like, bro, you want to talk about like, and I've got friends from like Turkey and shit. It's like, do you want to talk about like corruption, bro? When I ask them about their country, I'm like,
it's super funny. We're now from honesty, we went to counting who is better liar, who's politician. This is how much people lie. This is how much politicians lie. It's like,
yeah,
we
there's
are
literally like a hierarchy of like.
You're just making an example. Oh, politicians like tell me they lie, and then we get to. It's so accepted in society that it's like, wow, we can go and have fun about who's lying more.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Yeah, and if you actually see the countries, this is absolutely, I'm not a sociologist or anything, but like the countries that have a bit less land, we can make a correlation that they're more
Yes.
successful, just a bit less,
Yes.
a bit less. So this is
Yes.
just, I'm not gonna go into politics. I'm not political scientist, so yeah.
Well, the more you align yourself with truth or reality, the more you get the things that you want. Like, that is just such an obvious statement, but it's only obvious when you start down the pathway of trying to be just a little bit more honest. We can talk about dating, we can talk about business, we can talk about friendships, doesn't matter, especially something like running a country and being a government. The more you align yourself with the truth, the more likely that country is to flourish, or your own life is to flourish, and you get the things you want. Because here is the ultimate test. If you just lie, which is not aligning yourself with reality, go stand on a 8-lane highway where there are cars going, 100 miles an hour. Go stand in the middle of a highway and say, I'm not on a highway right now. See how long you last. Say, I'm in the comfort of my own home. Right? Like, go and tell a fucking lie. Or when there's like, I don't know, a hurricane or something, go stand in the middle of the hurricane and be like, there's no hurricane right now. I'm good. I'm fine. There's no hurricane. It's like, see how long you last. If we don't align ourselves with the truth is bigger than us. The truth was here before us, and the truth will be here after we're gone. It's like the truth is just more important than you. It's just bigger than you. And if you deny it for long enough, at first it just hurts. Like, it hurts to deny reality. Like, it's literally painful. Denial is very painful. Other people just think you're fucking crazy and don't give you the thing that you want. Or they give it to you for a little bit and then they figure out that you're full of shit and you're lying, and then they go away from you because you are dangerous. If you tell lies, you are literally dangerous. And then if you keep lying for long enough, the truth will just kill you. Like, it won't even intentionally kill you. You'll just die. Go stand on an 8-lane highway and say, I'm not on a highway right now. You'll die. Like, reality will just accidentally kill you. And so the more we can align ourselves with truth, especially in dating, this is what I want. I want to have sex with you, or I want this, or I find you attractive, or I am looking for something casual. The more likely you are to get it, and more to the point, the less likely you are to be like hurt or rejected. And people lie because they're trying to protect themselves from rejection, which is the world's, I get why people do it, but it's the shittest solution to trying to avoid being hurt. You end up hurting the other person, which hurts you, like you feel guilt. And then they end up hurting you back because they're like, this fuckboy lied to me. And so I'm going to try and sabotage him or hurt him or cause drama or play games with him. And I can't remember if it was you that said it or if it was me that said it or if we got it from someone else. If you're a guy that plays games with girls, you become the guy that girls play games with.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm not sure. I don't think I've said it. Maybe you've said it, but
We've read
yeah,
it
yeah.
somewhere.
It's
We've
definitely
read it somewhere, yeah.
it's true. It's true. Yeah, yeah. Lying is a two-way street. The only way, like,
Mm,
yeah, what you said, and I've seen it before. Other people have said it, and I felt it. Where you don't lie, like when you really say the truth, the other people are like put in a position to say the truth too. Like especially to say the truth, you have to be specific about it. For example, saying something like to a girl, "You're sexy," that is the truth. She is sexy, but you can be way more specific. Exactly what is sexy about her? What do you find as sexy in particular? And with friendships and everything is the same. But
mm.
about lying, I think most people don't realize that, yeah, there are people that straight up lie. They say, well, something is 100%, an 80 opposite of the truth. It's absolutely the opposite. But I think the most lying that happens, that is like even subconscious, like you don't realize you do it, where you just see a situation where telling the truth will change something in the person, but you just don't tell it. Yeah, it's by
Yeah.
lying by omission. This is, I think, the most common lying, and it's still lying, and it's still like if the person believes something and you can say something, some truth to them, and that will change their whole thinking, but you will decide not to, that is lying. And this is how, and this is super accepted. This is extremely accepted in society, like in every society, in every human culture and everything. This is the most acceptable way of lying. This is basically hiding the truth rather than sharing something really important. It's like when you read a story about how someone is cheating on someone else and then all their friends knew, but they're the only person that they didn't know. And you're like, wow, like this is the type of lying that I feel like is the most detrimental.
And you can tell yourself that, like, no, I don't want to hurt the person. Like, that's why people ghost. We've had these conversations, like, even recently in the group, a couple of people have been ghosted. You, the gym girl,
Yeah.
who just like pretends you don't exist when you walk up to her in the gym after you guys slept together, and she's just like, I'm gonna pretend that you're not real, and I'm just gonna like ignore you. And it's like that's because she's afraid to just say, "Hey, Victor, I don't think I want to sleep with you again." And so, like, people, you can convince yourself, or your brain can convince itself that you're being almost compassionate. You're like, I don't want to hurt the person, so that's why I ghost them. I don't want to get rejected or reject someone else, so that's why I just ignore them on the street when they come up to me and say hi. You know, like there's all these different little rationalizations that we make because we're scared. Deep down, we're scared of the truth. We're scared of hurting the other person. And so, in doing so, in avoiding telling the truth, we end up hurting them anyway, or we hurt ourselves anyway. It's quite painful to avoid the truth. Like avoiding the truth and not being honest hurts. It's painful. You feel guilty, you feel ashamed, you feel like you're a bad person. And I don't think you are a bad person. Like, neither of us are saying you're a bad person if you lie or omit the truth. You're just naive and innocent, just like we were. We still are. You and I still lie sometimes. We're working on it. It's such a fucking default easy habit. It's so easy. But I think when you start saying, okay, I'm going to try and be more honest, you start down that pathway of like, I don't even want to say like redemption, but redemption feels like it for me because I don't know about you, but I had a collective massive ball of guilt over my life from all the times I'd lied. Like, I think most of us walk around with guilt and shame from all the times we know that we've lied. That's why most people can't look in the mirror and look into their own eyes and say, I love you to themselves because they're like, fuck that. All the guilt will come up. Or if you say to someone like, do you feel worthy of love? Do you feel like you're a good person? Most people are like, yeah, I am. And then you're like, no, but like, really? Do you like really feel like you're a good person? They're like, oh shit, don't ask me that. I think we all walk around with this guilt that comes from lying by omission. And this is almost like the pathway to letting that go.
Yeah. 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 What you said about guilt, it was interesting because when I started telling the truth, I felt guilty about saying the truth at first. So
Yeah.
I had to let go of this. And this is also something that I found, at least with me, that sometimes saying the truth makes you guilty because you're not super aligned yet with the thinking where you say, well, I said the truth, that was the truth of the moment, and I expressed it, and that's it. There is nothing better or anything, like it cannot be judged. This was just the truth. And
Hmm.
accepting this is something that's also, at least for me, is still something that I work on. Yeah, but definitely the guilt of actual lying and hiding, because sometimes you haven't lied anything, you're just hiding stuff from people, and yeah, it's way worth it, way worth it. You don't, you're
To
like,
be honest is worth it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and with people it usually works like they are like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. This is the worst thing that you've said. I couldn't believe that. Basically, you put down the mask and you're like, well, I did this is the actual truth. And the opposite is you actually become closer. And I've had experiences where I've become closer to people. Actually, most of my experiences have been I become closer to
Yeah.
the people. Yeah, that's a big thing. And to get back to the girls, when you kind of hide your truth from them, like usually it's exactly what you want with them, or like sometimes I would say the truth is I don't know what I want with you. I'm not sure. I'm actually thinking about it, and it's really hard for me to decide. So we can talk about this.
Yeah.
Like this can be the truth, and then saying everything that kind of follows up and saying exactly what's on your mind,
Mhm.
because this can be the truth. Not doing this, usually what happened was it led me at some point to saying the truth in an angry manner, like where I wasn't aware that this is what happens, but when I read the Radical Honesty and when I read Mode 1, I realized, wow, oh, those guys explain it. Why do it like? And I've had experiences with my sister where she can't say the truth.
Yeah. No, I I laugh, but that is like literally a police interrogation technique. Literally, that is you get them angry, you get them prideful and like egotistical and angry and irrational, and then yes, they tell the truth. People do the same in like courtrooms. You're trying to get the witness pissed off, so they will like spill the truth. Like yes, that is literally an interrogation technique. It works. Yeah, when we're angry, we're more likely to tell the truth. Yeah. That's not
Yeah.
what we're saying to do, by the way, but like,
Yeah. I wouldn't do this. Like telling the truth in an angry manner, I would only do it with professional therapists in the room, because you mirror the anger, and it can. I think like
but that's
there are
like,
ways to do it, but yeah,
yeah, and that's part of the reason why I started being honest. I was angry. Like, I was really angry and frustrated and sick of, going on dates with women that didn't go anywhere because I wasn't being upfront and telling them what I wanted. And then they were just going, well, I'm just going to go with the flow because he's going with the flow. So I guess we'll just fucking figure it out together. And then I'd get annoyed that I didn't get the thing I wanted because I hadn't told them. And so that frustration came out. And then I was angry. And that's why I started being honest. And at first, you might be clumsy if you're doing it from an angry position. So that's why we say try not to be too angry. But like, yeah, that's why I started being honest. I was angry. I was annoyed at myself.
yeah. But you have to. Someone has to tell you, like you have to. Something has to come to you to realize this, because like when I was angry, I was like, oh, I didn't have enough game. That's why I'm. I have to just become better at this manipulation stuff and playing games with people,
Yeah.
and then I won't be angry. But what happens, what I have noticed is when you kind of do this thing, go with the flow. I think it's good when you really don't know what you want, but if you know what you want, then you can just saying it frees you up, frees your time, frees everything. Otherwise, what happens, at least to me, was I had experiences with girls where people would be hurt. People would be hurt, and you start hiding things. And yeah, I've had at least two, three girls tell me, "Well, why did you hide it?" You told me this, and when I looked back, I was like, okay, yeah, I've done the same, but I was just
Yeah.
not aware of it. So yeah.
Yeah, it can be hard to like even spot that you're lying by omission or that you're holding back. Like we said, there are levels to honesty, and I think most people would say, "No, I'm pretty honest," and then they'd feel guilty as they say that sentence. But like most people would say, "I'm pretty honest," and you guys aren't. Like I think most of the world is like doing their best with honesty, but you realize there are levels to this. Like that thing that's in my head right now, I can just say that to her. My intentions that I have for her, or the things that I want from her or with her, I can just say that to her. Maybe let's talk like practicalities, like practical things. Like when you first walk up to a woman, you see a girl on the street, you're like, wow, she's cute. I want to go and say hi. You're allowed to just walk up and be like, hi, you're cute. I wanted to come say hi. I told you that I was on Instagram last night, like watching several like pickup artist videos. And again, I think it's fucking incredible that they walk up to women and hit on them. I think that's amazing. I think that's utterly amazing. And so I want to really solidify that statement before I say my next statement. There are levels to honesty and they could go above what they're currently doing. Like I saw so many of them that would walk over and be like, "I dig your style. I think you have really cool fashion. Oh, that's cool. Like what are you doing today?" And they're not saying like, "I find you attractive. I want to go on a date with you and fuck you," or "I want to go on a date with you and see if we want to have sex," or "I want to go on a date with you and be in a relationship with you." Like they're not saying that. They're kind of getting close to it. And I think they're doing a pretty fucking fantastic job because they're like, "I like your style. I like the way you're dressed." It's like you're getting closer and you're edging your way to the truth, but you're allowed to just autistically say the truth. You're allowed to just say, "I find you attractive. Do you find me attractive? Or would you like to go on a date with me and find out? Or like, do you want to talk about it?" And so they're getting closer and closer and closer. But I think we're all chasing that almost like perfection or that ideal of honesty. You and I are too. I'm sure someone else could look at you and me, especially someone who's like really autistic and just like obsessed with the truth. Maybe they would look at you and me and be like, "Andy, you and Victor lie sometimes, or you don't tell as deep a truth as you could." And you and I would be the first two people to be like, "Yeah, bro. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yes. 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 Thank you for pointing that out. Please give us some tips." Like, we're still working on our honesty. So I think if you walk up to a girl and you just say the damn truth, like, what's on your mind? "I find you cute. I think you're hot. Hey, I was looking at you. I'll be honest, I was kind of having some fantasies about you. Like, you're pretty hot." Like, you're allowed to just say all of that stuff. You might want to work up to it, but you can say that. It feels nice when you say it a few times. You get practiced at it.
I just wanna like you can be tactful about it. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to be like full like absolutely like you're imagining her, you're in bed with her and what you're doing, and then going and spilling everything out to her exactly with the greatest detail. Maybe you don't want to do that. If you I've done similar things, so but I think if you want, you can be tactful with the truth, where you don't lie, and you're not like you're not super vague and ambiguous. Like you don't make the other person believe something that is not true, but you're also have this is where compassion is. You have the compassion
Yes.
not to have tact with them, and yeah, this is a fine line that everyone has to find from their selves. So
Yeah.
it's not like I think like just going and saying to the girl, "Hey, I want to fuck you," right? It's you can do it. I think actually it's an interesting experience to do it. This is
Yeah.
you can do it just to prove to yourself that you can do it. You know how you go to the gym sometimes you gotta lift the heavier weights to do progress. So that's similar. Why can't you say it? And it's the question is not like in social, like everyone knows, everyone has some ideas why you can't say it. But the more interesting question for me, at least, was why can't I say it? What's stopping me inside really saying it? Because the truth
Yeah.
is, when I walk up to a girl, even if she's my long-term girlfriend, even if she's like, even if I want her to for just for fuck buddies or like, I don't know, friends with benefits, whatever, I want to sleep with her. That's the main reason I'm going. Like, it's really rare that I would approach a girl that I just wanna be friends with, unless we have some really shared interests. Most girls, I think, the way they're brought up. in our society, they know unless the girl like is super naive, which is super rare, but like unless the girl is super naive, she knows why you're there. She knows that you're there to sit with her. Just saying it out front, I think, is the easiest way to go about this, and you don't really like you save yourself for the girls that actually want to share this with you, that actually want to sleep with you. I think a big part of being honest is with girls specifically is it's as a guy, it breaks your ego.
Yes.
That's how it goes. It absolutely breaks your ego because at least for me, I used to believe I can get all those top girls. I can go up to the top girls. Like we're talking about girls that are 10 out of 10, and you can stop them on the street and you will sleep with them, you will go on a date with them, and you just have to go and talk to them, and you just like, you tell her where she's from, you make some good conversation, you make it entertaining, she gives you her like contact information, and then something may happen. And what happens when you're honest is this she just tells you no because she's honest back. And same with like friends, social circles. You will go and you're honest with them, and they'll be like, "No, yeah, they're just flirting with you because flirting with me because it's fun. Flirting is fun,
Yep.
and teasing, and I've done this. I remember one example was with one barista. I was flirting with her and everything, and it was right in the beginning. And we were flirting. She was like touching my hand. She was like extremely gorgeous, 10 out of 10. And I felt, oh, there is something, and I got like this build up. And then at some point, I just asked her for a date. That was my honesty at the time. I asked her for a date. I stopped being like this flirtatious, whatever, building intrigue. And she was like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, okay. And then I left, and I like actually felt like, wow, what is this like? I've been going to this coffee shop for, I don't know, I was going for like, I don't know, 2 months. And I saw her every other time, almost every day. And I saw her like 2, 3 times a week. And I was like, wow. So I could have skipped all of this if I just talked to her. Like, if I just asked her, hey, are you single? And then problem solved. I wouldn't like, I would have known the answer. So, that's.
But that's part of why people skip honesty, bro. Because they're like, I want to avoid the rejection. They would see that as a rejection. Because we get this question sometimes, man, where people will be like, hey, I tried your honesty thing, and this girl said no to me. She just straight up said no to my face. I said to her, hi, I find you attractive. Are you single? I'd like to take you out. And she was like, no, I'm not interested. Or no, I have a boyfriend. I feel rejected. Like, this hurts. This sucks. This is bad. Honesty doesn't work. And it's like, because before you were playing not to lose, you were playing it safe. You were trying to avoid rejection. So you never took a shot. You never shot your shot. You were just like, I'm never going to ask any girl out properly. I'll just drop fucking hints and play dumbass game. Okay, this is a little harsh. I'll play games. I'll play it safe, and then I'll never get rejected. And it's like, yeah, but you'll also never go on a fucking date because you're going to just spend 6 months like flirting or building rapport or building intrigue or whatever it is that you said, or looking for indicators of interest. I'll just avoid actually ever doing anything, and then I won't get rejected. But a big part of this process of honesty is you get a yes much quicker if you walk up to girls and say, hi, I find you attractive, or I think you're really sexy, or hey, you're super cute, like, are you single? I'd love to go on a date with you. You will get a yes much quicker because you're going to save yourself so much time. But you will also get a no much quicker, and you're going to save yourself a lot of time. But a lot of people, you're right, it's almost like the ego can't handle that. And I think ego is the right word. Like, we try and be gentle with it, but goddamn, like, this process taught me that I had a fucking ego, dude. Like, I literally didn't want any human being to ever say no to me for any reason. Like, my ego couldn't handle the word no. It's like one simple syllable, no. And I mean, most of the time people are like, oh, like, thank you, but no thank you. Like, they're so fucking gentle with how they say no. But my brain, my ego couldn't handle it. And like, a lot of people see honesty as a bad thing because they're like, but then they'll say no to my face and I'll get rejected. And it's like, that's good. You'll drop your fucking ego just a little bit. That big overinflated brain will just like go back to almost normal size. if you hear the word no.
Yeah, and I think it really brings you to reality of like
Yeah.
the actual type, the girls that will actually sleep with you. Because there are some realities you have to realize where, like, especially I had a streak like when I was like 18, 19, 20, where I was just looking at Instagram models not a lot of the time. And I was like, oh, they're so hot. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep with them someday. And this like I was under that impression that I am entitled to sleep with the hottest girls. Like any guy I talk to and I met, like guys like to say that girls only like the hottest guys, but it's so true for girls, for guys too. Like every guy I've met so many guys that are like, well, I can sleep with some girls, but I want the hottest ones to sleep with. And
Dude, dude, yeah. Can we have a conversation
yeah,
about that? About how so many guys are just like, it doesn't count unless she's a supermodel. It's like, okay, well, that excludes 99% of society. Do you just like not count all those women as people? They're just like, she's not good enough because she's not a supermodel. There is so much ego in like getting laid in communities like this. They're like, I've only made it when I'm fucking 10 out of 10 women. And it's like, Jesus Christ, man, that's like 0.1% of society, less than that. And are you a 0.01% man in society? No. Like, and that doesn't mean you can't sleep with very attractive women, but like, yeah, there is definitely an ego in there. You're right. And they exclude like the vast majority of women and say they don't count. And they'll sleep with like beautiful women who are just wonderful people, and they'll go, yeah, onwards and upwards though. Like, fuck that bitch. She's just a stepping stone. It's like, dude, that's your fellow human being that you just like pumped and dumped on this mission to just race towards a supermodel. Like, that was a person that you just left in the wake.
now I'm not saying sleep with girls you don't find attractive, at least something,
No, that's not what we're
but
saying. No.
yeah, but like there's like levels. I guess this is why people, guys like, and I do too. Like we say from 1 to 10. This means how much you are attracted to the girl. And by the way, this is different for every guy. Like the girls I
Yep.
like are different than most girls. But we can say that there are some even like no even like there are guys that would say like Nicki Minaj is sexy, and I'm like, bro, no,
You. So
no.
we had this conversation yesterday where you were like, I don't really like Asian women. I'm about to see an Asian girl that I've just started seeing casually. Like, I'm going to see her after this podcast. Like, I freaking love Asian girls. I love skinny girls with no butt, tiny boobs, thin. That's just like my thing. I just like skinny people. And then you and plenty of other people, like my friend, one of my friends, Jimmy, same thing. They're just like, I don't like skinny girls. Like, no. So we can't even agree on who's attractive. Women can't either. There are women that are like, I like the kind of chubby guy who's like got lots of money, or I like the chubby guy who hasn't got lots of money. I like the guy who smokes weed and plays video games all day because I can change him. And like, people can't agree on who they find attractive. We have some idea. There are people that are more likely to be called attractive. There are people that are less likely to be attractive. But to just say that someone is or isn't attractive and to make it binary, yeah, it's just kind of missing the point that we're all different human beings with different preferences.
Yeah, kind of letting go of that idea, and I'm working on this myself, that idea that you get girls to kind of show off. Oh, I'm with this attractive girl,
Yeah, for the
and
ego.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
yeah, I'm only getting the hottest girls. And then you realize, well, the other guy, people don't think that you're getting the hottest girls because they just like different types. And obviously, there are some girls like you can, in general, agree with, and you can say, well, they're, yeah, they're hot and whatnot. And but still, like everyone has their own type. And for me, like you kind of realize that some of the girls that you really find attractive, that's like the girls that you find 10 out of 10 attractive, you you may not like that, you will most likely not be able to sleep with them on a consistent basis the way that you thought. At least this is what happened to me. Like I always thought like, oh, I'll just get like, I'm into gym girls, right? I'll just get gym girls nonstop. But that's not the way it goes. You kind of you kind of chill out and you realize there are like attractive is not like obvious. Well, I think we talked about this, but attractive is not only about how you how you look, and this is for
correct.
I think both guys and girls. There are more components of what you find attractive, and I mean specifically sexually attractive. We're not
Yes.
talking as a person. We're not talking in a long-term relationship. Everything changes then. But like, let's say just for casual sex, whether like let's short-term or like long-term casual sex, I think what you find attractive is usually like a combination of their looks and plus the way they behave,
Hmm.
like the way they behave and the way they like small things, like the way they move their eyes, the way they talk to you, the enthusiasm they have towards you. Because
Yep.
yeah, the way they are in bed, obviously, and the stuff that they like. And there's so many other things. Like I cannot name them all. We can be making the list the whole thing. But like this is one of those things is when I approach a girl that I think it's super hot, and then we just don't vibe. Basically, there is something about her, the way she behaves, that just doesn't jive with me. And then you approach some girl. This has happened to me when I open myself up. I approach a girl that I would say body wise is not like super like exactly my type, what I'm looking for. And then I go and she has this demeanor and everything, and now she's extremely attractive to me.
Yes.
Like and my so the only way to truly know whether you're attracted to someone is to go and talk to them for a bit,
Spend some time with them. Yeah. Yeah.
spend some time, and this for casual sex. Obviously, for more meaningful relationships, you have to spend even more time to
Yes.
truly get them, and obviously have sex with them. Otherwise, sexual chemistry or ain't working.
Yeah. All the stuff you're talking about there is ego. I think when people start any goal in general, you have an ego about it. Like before you've ever gone to the gym or the first couple of times you go to the gym, you're like, I'm going to set a PR in the gym every single time I go to the gym. It's like, no, you're fucking not, champ. Maybe for the first like 3 to 6 months you might. And then after that, good luck with the grind. Like, or business. You're like, every single day, I'm going to like take one big step towards being a millionaire and I'm never going to have a backward step ever. And I'm never going to have a day where I lose money or someone wants a refund or something like that. It's like, good luck with that, man. And especially in dating, you're right. I think a lot of guys get into it saying, I'm going to fuck all the hottest supermodels like every single day. And I'm just going to sleep with 10 out of 10s and like all of that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, okay, if you say so. Like, no, that's just not how it works. Women do the same shit. I'm going to find my Prince Charming and we're going to live happily ever after. That's like every Disney movie ever. They lived happily ever after. So you think for the next like 50 years of your relationship, you're never once going to have a struggle together. You're never once going to have a disagreement or an argument. Neither of you are going to get cancer or be sick or be tired or be stressed from work or lose your job or lose your house or one of the kids gets sick. Like you think there's never once going to be a struggle that tests your relationship. You think happily ever after. Like, good luck. And so I think we just have, maybe it's not ego. I mean, it is, but maybe it's just naivety about what it's actually going to entail. And I think people have a naivety about the amount of effort that it might take. If you're going to go outside and like hit on women, you're probably not going to go and talk to one woman and she's like, oh, wow, I love you. Yay, let's be together. No, like the first 10 women you talk to are just going to be like, no, thanks. No, thanks. I have a boyfriend. That's so sweet, but no, thank you. I have a boyfriend. Especially when you start being honest. Like when you start really being honest, because you'll be clumsy with it. When you walk up to the first girl and say, like, hey, you're really hot, you're really sexy, you're probably going to be clumsy in that. It's probably not going to go the way that you think it will. And so you sort of learn through experience that, yeah, like my assumptions at the start were just a little bit innocent. We hear that a lot where guys are like, wow, I think I was a bit naive. But I'd love to talk a little bit, man. I don't think we've talked about actual examples. I want, if you're cool with it, maybe to give a couple of examples of times when you've been like really, really, really honest with women, like told them, I find you attractive or I find you sexy. I'm looking for something sexual or casual or however you want to phrase it. And I'm seeing other women, like women that have heard all of that and gone, cool, great, that suits me. And then you guys end up dating or sleeping together.
Oh yeah, one of the examples, one of the first ones that comes to mind is this girl that I told her like she has like the first this I saw her like from across the street. She was walking and she had like those pants, like I'm a nice guy, and she had those pants and it was like her legs look so nice and like her ass looks so nice in her pants. Like I was absolutely attracted immediately. I was like, I don't care. I didn't see her face. I don't care. I'm not a face guy. And
What's funny is this is what we're talking about. How like guys will have different things that I'm a face
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
Like I just need a pretty face. If she's got a pretty face and the rest of her is like, in my opinion, like okay, I'm like, I'm good. She got a pretty face. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, there's no universally agreed upon attraction anyway, as you were saying.
yeah. Well, I went like I crossed the boulevard and ran to her and told her exactly this, and she was like, "Well, I have a boyfriend, but thank you, you made my day, and you were a really good guy." And to me, this was mind blowing. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know, like this girl, without realizing, she gave me so much by like helping me realize, wow, girls actually like this. Because a lot of people think, oh, girls don't like to be objectified, but when it actually comes, that's not true. Actually, in some contexts, sure, but in many other contexts, they do, and of course it's from girl to girl, but a
Yeah.
lot of girls do, and this is basically dirty talking. Sexual talk is all about objectifying the other person. And she just told me, you're a good guy. To me, this kind of broke something in me a bit,
Yeah, I remember that.
and I was like, okay, so nothing bad really happens if you do it. And like with any experience that I've had, even to this day, most of the experiences that I didn't like was when I wasn't really specific with the honesty. Like I didn't say specifically what I like. And I think this is like the hardest part, to be extremely specific with what exactly you like. You don't have to like say exactly what you want to do with her because of it, but like being extremely specific with what you like about her, like saying you like how her legs look in that dress or whatever. This is the only thing that makes me like frustrated with me, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, when you're holding back in the honesty, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, yeah. And about the experiences, like even yesterday, I had an experience. I've been talking to girls, and I saw this random girl. She was running, almost running. I stopped her, and there's one thing that I've been told, like, oh, don't stop the girls that are in a hurry, they'll just blow you off. And it's true, a lot blow you off. But a lot of girls that are standing and sitting will blow you off
Yeah.
too. So she stopped and we started talking, and I told her I found her attractive. And yeah, she was really interested immediately. Then I told her I'm not looking for anything serious. I want her to be my foot buddy. She told me she's traveling. And she's here for like 2 weeks, but we can do it while she's here. And I told her exactly what I want to do with her in bed. We talk about this in this. We create sexual bucket lists, and I have a
Yeah.
sexual bucket list. And I told her one of the things I want to do with her, and she was like, "Wow, yeah, we've been chatting. This is the kind of girls I usually look for." And
Yeah.
even if nothing happens with the girls, this is the kind of experience I'm generally looking for.
Yeah, and you've had plenty of things happen, like is it the Turkish girl, the one that you were just like ridiculously honest? I want you to be my fuck buddy. I'm seeing other girls and all of that. And she's like, okay,
Yeah.
and then you guys end up sleeping together.
Yeah, yeah. With Turkish, yeah, yeah. She was the first girl that kind of this worked, if that makes sense.
You
This
were a
worked to get.
hundred, 100% honest with her about literally everything. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the conversation that we had afterwards, the kind of communication, because people say, "Oh, you cannot have like casual sex and be like really be intimate and connect." But
it was
I would,
just like the funniest lie ever told is like you can't be intimate
yeah.
with someone you're having casual sex with. You can't get feelings. You guys can't get close and connected and have something deep. It's like why?
Yeah, I think it is true if you just pick up someone from the bar, you don't talk and stuff happens, and you just have
Yeah,
casual
but
sex.
even
And
then, you can
even
just form a connection afterwards.
yeah, but and then if you don't see each other and you're kind of drunk, and then you don't see that's the kind of casual sex I agree that is just like
Mm.
right that most people refer to. But like when you're really honest with someone, actually the opposite happens, because what happens is if the girl knows that she won't be seeing you, like if you look into the girl's eyes and you've told her like I'm just gonna fuck once or twice and then that's it, I don't want anything more from you. If you talk her something like this and then you're in bed and you decide to talk about topics that are more intimate, she will open up and tell you things that she hasn't told anyone because she knows she's not gonna see you. She knows what you've told, and and she knows that you've been telling the truth since the beginning. So also her level of comfort and trust and security will be like at this level where she will tell you stuff like this. And sometimes she can tell you stuff that would be crazy. So it's interesting that
Yeah, like sexual stuff, especially. Yeah,
yeah
stuff from her sexual background,
yeah
stuff she wants to
yeah
do with you, stuff she hasn't told any other guy
yeah
ever.
her kinky side.
Yeah, yeah. When you're honest, you bring out people's kinky side because you're literally saying, you can just tell me the truth and I won't judge it because I'm going to tell you the truth and risk you rejecting me. So therefore, now you're going to feel more comfortable telling me the truth. You can tell me the kinky shit that's in your head. You can tell me the stuff that you've never dared share with another soul because you were afraid. Like, yeah, you open the door to like that deep, authentic communication and better sex. Like, good sex requires trust and communication and vulnerability. Sex is vulnerability. And if you hold back on the vulnerability, you are literally making the sex shitter.
I definitely agree. Yeah, this is like for me, this is just starting up. Like I've been doing all this
Yeah.
for a year, and I feel like I've been kind of trying stuff out, seeing what I like, and now I kind of figure out how I want to go about this and who I want to be.
Mm.
And now I feel like I'm kind of doing the thing that I actually want, and going more about it. So as I get more experience with this, well, the more I do it, the more experience I get. I'm sure the more interesting stories there will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you say, the stories are more interesting. They are to someone who hasn't heard it, but eventually, like, honesty just becomes so fucking normal. It becomes your reality. Like, one of the women I'm seeing now, Molly, I hit on her in person. I just said, like, wow, you're so pretty, or you're so sexy, or something. Whatever I don't even remember what I said. I just told the truth. You're so hot. You're so cute. Are you single? Yes, I am. We talked for a little bit. We're standing at a pedestrian crossing waiting for the lights to go because I walked her to work. So I've just met her. I'm just talking to her. I'm staring at her lips and I'm thinking like, God damn it, she's so fucking pretty. I want to kiss her. So I'm like, God damn it, you're so fucking pretty. I want to kiss you right now. And she's like, she gets flustered and she's like, oh my God, maybe not before work. And I was like, yeah, I didn't expect you to kiss me, but I just wanted to tell you that. I wanted to tell you that. And as soon as I get her phone number, I text her and I say, hey, that was fun. By the way, I'm looking for something sexual, something that starts out casual. I date multiple women. I'm non-monogamous. If that suits you, that's good. If not, that's cool. Like, just let me know. And she was like, great, good. That sounds great to me. And I was like, cool. I'm also into BDSM. So if that's something you want to explore, awesome. If not, that's fine. We can just have like normal sex. So yeah, let me know how you feel about that. And she was like, oh, yes, please. Great. Like, you just get to a point where you're that honest and upfront with everyone that it's not a big deal. It's literally the equivalent of saying, by the way, this is my favorite coffee shop. Or by the way, I'm a life coach, a sex and dating coach. By the way, the sky is blue. Like, your sexual honesty just becomes as, I don't want to say mundane, but it's just like not a big deal. And, you see my dating profile, same shit. It's just like BDSM pictures. I'm into BDSM. I'm happy to teach you. It's the first thing I say to people. Do you want to try BDSM? I'm seeing multiple people, so I'm non-monogamous. Like, I want something sexual with you, obviously. Like, you just say that thing, and it's not any big deal. And so the interesting stories, like, they're interesting to other people, but it's also just like normal. And once you've been that honest for a long time, and you've been that honest for quite a while, but I think like the more you do this, you're going to get to a point where you're like, wow, I can't believe I ever wasn't honest before. And you'll forgive yourself for that. Like, it's not to feel guilty, but you'll just be like, this honesty shit is like a million times easier. I get what I want much quicker. If they say no to me, I find that out sooner. And I get to be grateful. And that's something I think that you're really good at, man, is like anytime a woman says no to you, you come up with at least one reason why you're grateful that she said no. Like, she's teaching me stoicism. She's teaching me to lower my ego. Like, when you can get to that point, which everyone is capable of that, where you're genuinely grateful for the no's as much as the yeses, maybe even more so because it's teaching you something, fuck, man, then this becomes really easy and fun and powerful.
Yeah. This is what I learned in the coaching, by the way. I was like, what the hell is gratitude? And
That's like most people that come to coaching. They're like, what's the point of gratitude, bro? That's cute that you want us to be all spiritual and hippie and grateful. It's like, no, motherfucker, you will talk to more women if you're more grateful. You will get laid more if you're more grateful. You will make more money if you're more grateful. Like, just
Yeah.
fucking be grateful. Like, you don't
Yeah,
have to just be grateful, but like, work on it, work on it, work on it.
yeah, you learn that it's there are reasons like this is not new knowledge. This is something that's existed in millennia. So you learning it now is like okay, yeah. But yeah, once you go kind of really being honest and like that's for me a lot of the time is like a challenge how honest I can really be in the moment. And like sometimes I would think like going to a girl and being sexual, and I would go like do it and then think, well, was I really honest? And then realize that well, there are things like sometimes you can go to a girl and the most honest thing do is to tell her a joke you just thought.
Yeah,
You'll be like, yeah,
yeah,
look, I came to hit on you, but actually, and you tell her the joke, and just because it sounds funny, right? The moment is really important. The moment, honesty, the truth of the moment is that, and when the moment passes, and like 10 minutes later, 30 minutes later, and you're thinking, oh, I should have said this. Well, no. What happens is you you are allowed to say it and you didn't say it, but it's a new moment, and the truth of
yeah,
that moment is different than the truth of the last moment. So going back and thinking, oh, I building shame, like I think you can say it in a way where it's constructive. You could say I should have like in the constructive I could have like I can be even more honest, and I'm grateful because now I learn. Or you can be like, oh, I didn't say the right thing. That's not good, and I'm not doing good, and be destructive with it, and then build shame. Yeah. So or
yeah,
guilt. Yeah, and this is how I think it's focusing on the honesty of the moment, and there is a lot more to this. At least for me, it's like there is a lot more to untangle in my brain to realize what gets you to that point where you truly experience each moment without being in your head that much, because this is the truth of the moment. You're experiencing everything right now without any thoughts of what's good, what's right, and what not going on, like what are you eating for dinner, really clouding your head. But being in the moment and feeling the other person and everything about them
mm.
and saying why you're there and everything.
Yeah. You're basically talking about being present and doing what you want. And I think for a lot of people, that's really hard because there are all these other thoughts in your head of what's acceptable, what you should do. And even the word should, man, people use that all the time. They're like, I should say this. I shouldn't tell my joke because Andy and Victor said, like, don't be a pickup artist, which we never fucking said that. But like, people will take it as that and they'll go, I shouldn't tell the joke because that's what a pickup artist would do. And they said not to do that. So I shouldn't do that. And it's like, first of all, we never fucking said what you should or shouldn't do. But in the moment, if you feel like telling a joke, great. If you feel like being a pickup artist, great. If you feel like being honest and saying, I find you sexy, great. Like, do what you want to do in that moment. There are no shoulds, there are no rules. And over time, just like you and I have found, you eventually settle on what I call like honesty plus compassion. And you put those two things together. And so you're like, I'm going to be as honest as I can with her. I'll forgive myself if I struggle to be honest. That's okay. I'll be as honest as I can in this moment and try and say as close to the truth as I can. And I'll pair that with some compassion and I'll be nice to her. And I'll try and put those two things together. So, in other words, honesty plus love or truth plus love. And I'll do my best with that shit. And that for me has always been a guideline that has helped me is like, what do I feel like saying right now? And can I pair that with a bit of love? Can I have a positive intention for her? Can I try and make her day a little brighter or make her smile or make her feel good? And if I'm clumsy and I fuck that up, that's okay. I was trying. I was trying to make her feel good. I was trying to make myself feel good. As long as my truth is trying to make them and myself feel good, then that feels like a pretty good starting place for me. And if it's, like I said, clumsy, that's okay. Do you want to maybe give one tip for guys who are starting out with like approaching women? Like they want to start going and talking to girls. Maybe they're a little scared to be honest. They're a little scared to just say what they want. What would you say to that guy?
The most important thing is action. Action is everything. Experience and action is everything. Right. Every time like content is good, but I don't really remember it unless I've done action and I was like, oh, Now that makes sense from what I was reading or like hearing or whatever from the content I ingested. That information now makes some sense more and I understand it better. But action, doing the things is the most important thing, right? Nothing else matters, especially like in the beginning. I remember when I started, I went like I went for hours a day. I couldn't approach. It was really hard. So the first thing is I found people to help me, literally in real life, people to come with me and do it, and that have done it. When I tried doing it alone, I would go out for hours and walk around without being able to do it. Like I did so many things. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, doing the action, doing the finding the experiences, and everything else will come. Because I know people that have like we can say this is something special, but in some sense, you're kind of going through something that you will figure it out. The more experience you have, you will figure it out. There are
Yes.
people like there are like if we go talk to people from older generations, they have the same knowledge that we have about not exactly the same, but in some sense from their experiences. And obviously, we live in the digital era where we can share everything, and it's really way easier to access it. But you can learn this stuff, a lot of the stuff that you will say on the channel and everything, like through experience. And when you have the
Yes.
content as well, when you have other people telling you, for example, your channel, then you give even more context to your experience and you realize, oh, this person has experience and you get the mentoring part of it. But a lot of people have done it without mentors and it's all experience, nothing else. You'll come to the same conclusions that everyone. We're not that like it's not like rocket science doing this. We're not rediscovering, like we're not breaking the atom here. We are just going out talking, finding the human, the compassion, the gratefulness. If you just will with any hard goal, with any hard goal. But I feel like for men, getting figure out how they can get with girls and they can figure out their way to have women in their life, whatever that way is, dating apps, social call approach, or whatever. Figuring out that way is kind of the filter for where you will figure out like guys do so many things to get girls. They do crazy stuff to get girls. So I was listening to Alan Roger Curry and he mentioned that George Clooney and then I found it and there is an interview where he says that he became an actor because he couldn't hear no's from the girls. He couldn't hear no. So he became one of the most prominent actors and one of the really attractive actors. And then he said he couldn't, he could still couldn't. So the girls just came to him. Yeah, guys will do crazy stuff to get girls, and in that way, girls kind of improve you. So you can only be grateful to them. So yeah, thank you, girls.
Thank you, ladies. We appreciate you. Yeah, thank you for being so pretty. You say that in your progress log sometimes in the coaching group. You're like, thank you, girls, for being so pretty and driving me crazy sometimes. I appreciate that.
Yeah, most of the time, like crazy attracting, like
Yeah, I feel the same way. If someone wants to sign up for coaching, but they haven't for whatever reason, what would you say to them?
Yeah, for me, it's been finding the community, especially with cold approaching and all this working on girls. Most of my friends, they're in different stages of their lives. They either have a girlfriend, they're building a family, some of them. Others are like working on their own goals, like finding the people that you can really. I have only one friend, like two friends that are really into more into cold approaching, talking to girls and like getting with girls in like even apps or whatever way they do it and finding a community of people, it was one of the big things. Yeah, the coaching, I learned so much and all the books I've read like I don't know so many books, like last month I read like five. Yeah, all the coaching is invaluable. At least it's like the best money I spent. And I kind of knew it when I was spending them. I was listening to your podcast like 1 year, 2 years before I signed up. For me, it was ultimately like extremely life changing. And also, I went through some really tough things. Like my mom
Yeah.
died when I
Yeah.
was in the coaching. So, yeah, and it was extremely helpful. getting that love. I met people. I met Ed in real life.
Hmm.
I'm sure I'll meet more people in the future. So
You might meet
yeah,
me. You said you might travel to my country. I'll take you. I'll take you out. We'll talk to girls. Yeah.
yeah. I'll definitely come meet you at some point because I'm curious.
Yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah, brother.
So yeah,
Yeah.
extremely invaluable for me. And the community part is the big one, where you meet the like-minded, goal-oriented people.
Yeah. It's nice to not be so alone in this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you for coming on again. This was an absolute blast. And to anyone listening, link in the description below to the coaching, and you are allowed to go out there and be a little more honest and upfront.
Yeah. Thank you, Andy.
And hey, you absolute legends. I right now have a one-on-one coaching deal that I barely ever offer. I haven't offered this for a couple of years now. So if you want to work with me one-on-one and have me as your personal cheerleader every single day, you can message me. You can have me there for accountability, for advice, for motivation, for some of that love and wisdom. And if you would like a one-on-one call with me every single week and access to our big VIP group coaching program, so the weekly group calls, all of the stuff that's included in that program as well. There is a link down below where you can check out what's on offer. You can apply to the program. I am happy to jump on a free call with you, talk through it all with you, and make sure it's a perfect fit for you. We have payment plans, or you can pay in full. Link down below. I would love to help you change your life, and you can do what Victor has done, maybe even more, because you'll get to work with me one-on-one. This is a limited time offer, and I am only offering this to 2 people, so don't miss out.